Hello and good evening, friends, and welcome to the Week 5 edition of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined by good old MF Michael Fletcher. Apologies for the slight delay. I had a computer issue. What else is new? So everything's good now, so we're ready to go. So getting ready for Week 5 of the NFL season. It started this past Thursday night on Thursday Night Football. The Los Angeles Rams against the Seattle Seahawks. And the Los Angeles Rams went on to win the game 26-17. As if losing the game wasn't bad enough for the Seattle Seahawks, Seattle ended up losing their franchise quarterback, Russell Wilson. He injured his finger, and he's going to be out, according to NFL.com, he's supposed to be out for roughly 6 weeks. And because of this, Geno Smith is going to be taking over at quarterback for Seattle. That is not good news for the Seattle Seahawks, and I don't know what else there is for me to say on that. So, but that's a big loss for Seattle. So, but anyways, getting into the rest of the slate for week number 5, the games that will go down tomorrow and Monday. This will be the last full week of action for a while, because starting next week and going on for the next several weeks will be the bye weeks. Bye weeks start next week. So with that being said, let's get started and get into our first game of the week. We're going to start in jolly old England. Yes, the NFL is back in London for the first time. Obviously no games there last year because of COVID restrictions and the whole 9 yards, but we're going to have it this time. And it's going to be at 9:30 in the morning for all you early birds out there. And this will be exclusively on the NFL Network. It will be the New York Jets squaring off against the Atlanta Falcons. MF can help me out with the stadium name, Tottenham or Tottenham. That's where it's going to be. So I know MF knows the stadium very well. I'll defer it to him when I get it to him. But for right now, that's where it's going to be. The legendary Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta, AJ, and we have 2 sideline reporters, AJ Ross and Melissa Stark, are going to be on the call for that game. And Atlanta opening up as a 2.5-point favorite. So without further ado, let's get started. And I've got my traditional notes back, so here we go. What to watch for. According to the Elias Sports Bureau, this is the first time ever that 2 interception-less teams have met this late in the season. Atlanta dropped multiple near interceptions last week, and Falcons defensive coordinator Dean Pease said he needs his defensive backs to be attacking the ball more. Jets quarterback Zach Wilson leads the NFL with 8 interceptions, while Atlanta's Matt Ryan has 3. So perhaps this is the week that at least one of these teams gets a big takeaway through the air. Bold prediction, rookie running back Michael Carter will deliver the Jets' first 100-yard rushing day of the season. The Jets will approach this game with a ball control mindset, hoping to give the defense a break. The defense was on the field for 93 plays last week, the 4th highest amount in an NFL game since 2000. The unit was gassed, and a cross-Atlantic trip to London doesn't help. Enter Carter, who will have a breakout game. Stat to know, Matt Ryan's average pass has traveled 5.9 air yards, the lowest in NFL this season. He is 2 of 8 on passes of at least 20 yards downfield and will be without number 1 receiver Calvin Ridley. What to know for fantasy, Falcons running back Cordero Patterson has been a top 20 back in each of the last 3 weeks, including a pair of top 5 finishes at the position. The betting nugget, the favorites in London games are 17-11 against the spread, but Atlanta, the favorite in this one, is 1-5 outright and against the spread as a favorite since the start of last season. 56.8% going with Atlanta. That's about 57% going with Atlanta. I'm going with Atlanta to win as well. Final score for me, I'm going to go 24-17. Atlanta knocks off the Jets. So not much more for me to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Our number 7 game of the week on our side. the Jets and the Falcons in London. What do you know about this Tottenham Stadium?
Well, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium is actually home for the English Premier League team of Tottenham Spurs. And it's a relatively brand new stadium. This was constructed for the 2012 Summer Olympic Games that were held in London. And then after the Olympic Games were over, this was the stadium that they used for the track and field and for basically for the soccer. It was also a soccer stadium as well, especially in the finals. Um, those were the two stadiums. This is where the stadium was held. Then after that, they turned it into an EPL stadium, but the NFL has been using it as a second venue other than Wembley Stadium, which is basically the cathedral of soccer as everybody knows it. That's basically the gist of it. So that's basically their home, and this is why that they're doing this game at this point, because right now the EPL is on break because of the fact that there's World Cup qualifying going on as we speak. So there's World Cup qualifying going on, so they don't need the stadium at the moment, and that's why the game is being held in this venue. So to give you the logisticals of the stadium, there you go, Anthony. And then as far as the game itself, I agree with you. I'm going to go with the Atlanta Falcons as well. I think Atlanta is due for a victory. I haven't seen anything resembling the New York Jets at all. It's been the same old Jets. I think you and I can both agree on that. So nothing more to say. I got the Atlanta Falcons winning the game, and it's all yours, Floyo.
Oh boy, I had a major brain fart here. Couple things. First off, I don't know if I mentioned this, but we might be awaiting. I don't know if we're awaiting the presence of Michael Bullock or not. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then I'm sure we'll have him back with us Monday night for Ridiculously Raw. But anyways, I'm so wrapped up in other things right now, especially a couple of big college games going on right now involving our two teams. Oh, by the way, we're both on major alert here. But the Jets and the Falcons, I forgot to address their series history. I mean, last meeting was in 2017. It was in New York. Falcons won 25-20. 2013 was the last time the Jets won. That was 30-28 in Atlanta. That was at the old Georgia Dome. Atlanta leads at 7-5. So there's all that. So all right. So now we can move on to our first of the early games here, the 1:00 games, and this one will be over on Fox. It's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles squaring off against the Carolina Panthers, Bank of America Stadium, Charlotte, North Carolina. Over on Fox, as I mentioned, and on the call for that one, it will be Joe Davis, Greg Olsen, and Pam Oliver. Greg Olsen returning to Charlotte. Only this time he'll be in the broadcast booth, not on the field, because he was a Carolina Panther for quite some time. Had a great career there. And Carolina opening up as a 3-point favorite. 3-point spread for Carolina, but Philadelphia leads the all-time series 7-4. Their last meeting was 2018 in Philadelphia. Carolina winning 21-17. Philly last beat Carolina overall and in Charlotte in 2017, 28-23. So not much more to say here. I think I know I have all the schematics now. So MF, Philadelphia and Carolina. Carolina suffering their first loss last week against Dallas, and Philly, they actually hung with Kansas City for a while, but ultimately Kansas City came away with the win. So Philly and Carolina, what happens in Charlotte tomorrow?
Yeah, no, I honestly think that it's gonna be you know what? This is gonna be an interesting game. It doesn't look like they're gonna get their starting quarterback, their starting running back, Christian McCaffrey. It looks like he's doubtful for the game. Chances are, when you ever hear the words doubtful, that practically means chances are he's not playing. He's out. So now you gotta think about who's gonna be the next game, the whole 9 yards, the next look. And honestly, I truly believe that when it's all said and done, I gotta go with Philly. I don't know why. I just feel like Philadelphia. Look, they've been up and down. They've been all over the place. I kind of feel like this is one of those kind of games for them. So I think they're gonna win it. So there's really nothing more to add. Um, I'm I'm not. Let's just say I'm very reluctant. It's not a definitive answer, but I think Philly just has enough weapons to get the win. I'm not 1,000% like sure about it. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, there's a lot of games like that. We all know that. So, but anyways, well, what to watch for? Carolina's offensive line is banged up with starting left tackle Cameron Irving with a neck injury, not expected to play, and left guard Pat Elflein still on IR with a hamstring injury. Trent Scott or rookie Brady Christensen could start for Irving, and coach Matt Rule hasn't ruled out moving right tackle Taylor Moton to the left side. With running back Christian McCaffrey with a hamstring possibly returning, how the line performs against the NFL's 31st ranked defense against the run is key. Bold prediction, Panthers quarterback Sam Darnold's carriage will turn back into a pumpkin. It's been quite the Cinderella start for Darnold, who has 3 games with 300-plus passing yards this season and multiple rushing touchdowns due to the last 2 games, but his offensive line has been shaky even before the injuries. Carolina ranks 30th with a pass block win rate of 44%, and Darnold has been sacked 11 times, tied for 6th most. Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon and defensive tackle Fletcher Cox have faced sharp criticism after yielding over 850 yards the past 2 weeks, and each will come with an edge. Darnold will be roughed up and commit multiple turnovers. Stat to know, Panthers receiver DJ Moore has 398 receiving yards this season, which is 3rd most through the team's first 4 games of the season in Panthers history. For fantasy, Darnold has gone over 25 points in consecutive games, while Philadelphia's Jalen Hurts has been a top 11 quarterback every week this season. The betting nugget, Eagles are just 6-12, both outright and against the spread over their last 18 road games. The FPI disagrees with UMF because they have Carolina 64.7%, just about 65% going with Carolina. So I have to go with the consensus here. I respectfully disagree with UMF. I'm going with Carolina to win this game. My final score, 28-23. Carolina defeats Philadelphia. So that's all I say. So moving on to our next matchup. And when it comes to the Fox side of the ledger, if I'm going to be honest with you, I think this should have been America's game of the week, not the game that they have at 425, which is without question the epitome of the words Buck and Aikman special. But you never know. It could be a good game, but we'll see. But for me, when it comes to the other side of the ledger, the Fox side, this is the game of the week as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be the Green Bay Packers squaring off against the Cincinnati Bengals from Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati. And this one is going to be over on Fox, as I said. And on the call for that one, it will be Kenny Albert, Jonathan Vilma, and Lindsey Zarniak. They will be in Cincinnati for that one. And Green Bay opening up as a 3-point favorite. And the series history favors Cincinnati 7-6. Last meeting was 2017 in Green Bay at Lambeau. Green Bay won 27-24 in overtime. Cincinnati, the last meeting was in 2013, and Cincinnati won 34-30. The Packers haven't won in Cincinnati since 1998, when Cincinnati was playing at the old Riverfront Stadium, then changed to Synergy Field, obviously. That was a 13-6 final. And so there you go. All right. So with that, let's get into this. All right. What to watch for? The Bengals are looking for their first 3-game winning streak since 2018 and are facing the toughest test to date this season. Meanwhile, the Packers are dealing with several key injuries. Green Bay finished its Week 4 win over Pittsburgh without 7 starters. Packers, the bold prediction, Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers will throw a rare pick 6. It has happened only 3 times in his career, but one of them came in the last meeting with the Bengals. weird things seem to happen when the Packers play in Cincy. There was the 2005 game when a fan ran onto the field and snatched the ball out of Brett Favre's hands to stall a potential game-winning drive. And then there was the Jonathan Franklin fumble that the Bengals returned for the game-winning touchdown in 2013. This one won't cost the Packers the game, but it will make it close. Stat to know, Green Bay receiver Devontae Adams, 31 receptions, lead the NFL and are his most through 4 games in his career. He also has 16 straight games with at least 5 catches, the longest active streak in the NFL and longest by a Packer since the great Hall of Famer Sterling Sharp, who had 18 straight from 1993 to 1994. For fantasy, one active player had a 30-yard catch in each of his first 4 career games. Bengals receiver Jamar Chase. Since 2013, Stephon Diggs in 2015 when he was in Minnesota is the only player to rattle off 5 straight games with such a catch at any point during his rookie season. The betting nugget, the Bengals are 7-4 against the spread in their last 11 games as a home underdog. FPI going with Green Bay, 53.6%, about 54% going with Green Bay. This one really can go either way, but right now I got to go with the hot hand, and I think the hot hand is the Green Bay Packers, and I just got this feeling about Green Bay right now. So, and I think the American hero Aaron Rodgers is going to pull out an American hero type performance here. So, I'm going with Green Bay to win this one. My final score, 31-28. I think this has the potential to be a 5-star shootout, chock full of Shakespearean drama, like some of the college games we've seen today. Red River Rivalry, I'm looking at you. So, but anyways, 31-28, Green Bay over Cincinnati. MF, if we were on the other side of the ledger, this easily would have been our game of the week. But it's their side, it's their game. So, but Green Bay and Cincinnati, to me, this is definitely a sleeper game of the week, no doubt about that. So, MF, let's get your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Sleeper matchup, no doubt about it. Yeah, like you said, game of the week possible, but I'm gonna go with the Packers. I think the Packers gonna win the game. I don't think there's really anything else to say. So yeah, Green Bay should win it, and we move right on along.
As far as what's going on in the college world, Notre Dame just survived. Oh, Lordy, that was not easy. I knew it wouldn't be. But
and
Notre
not
Dame,
only that, but Michigan just got a humongous turnover.
oh boy,
They got the ball right now,
yeah, I
minute
forgot it on there.
45, tie game, 29 all, and Michigan is in a red zone alert.
Yes, indeed they are. I'm watching it right now. So, yeah, a lot of things going on, like I said, So,
and not only that, but number 1's on the ropes.
Who would have thunk that?
Yeah.
I mean, that is crazy. I mean, yeah, that something about those rare primetime SEC on CBS games, I guess. But 10 minutes to go in the fourth. Yes, Texas A&M is leading Alabama 31-27. A&M going for the upset of the year at this point. I mean, this would be bigger than Oregon over Ohio State, hands down.
So, are you kidding me? If this upset happens, major shakeup in the top 4.
Yeah, because Penn State's out.
Yep.
Because Penn State lost. By the way, that's Stampede, though, MF. You're the Stampede authority. Thumbs up, I'm sure, from you.
Oh, yes.
So, yep, and Gus Johnson continuing to kill it. And, but yeah, but that's what we have. And Notre Dame, like I said, Notre Dame, by golly, it was not easy. I knew it wouldn't be, but Notre Dame, like Dusty Rhodes said at the Uncensored 96 after the Mega Powers survived that alliance to end Hulkamania in the Triple Cage match. Woo, they survived. Yeah, they did survive. Oh, my God. 32-29, Notre Dame beats Virginia Tech, and Michigan tie with Nebraska. Could we end up getting the same score? We'll see. But I'm done sweating. Now MF's on the ropes. I know MF's probably going to be in and out on this, and I wouldn't blame him. But we'll try our best to keep on top of this. But for right now, let's get back to the action here. I believe MF had his turns, so So I believe we can now move on to our next game here. And we go to our side of the ledger, but these next two games are our two Zonk game of the weeks. Two Zonk games of the week right here. This next one is going to feature the New England Patriots squaring off against the Houston Texans from NRG Stadium, formerly Reliant Stadium in Houston, Texas. This one will be over on CBS, and of course, it'll be on our local affiliate, WPRI 12 here in Rhode Island. And on the call for that one, it'll be Andrew Catalan, James Lofton, and Amanda Balionis. And the spread favors New England. New England opening up as an 8-point favorite. No surprise there. New England leads the all-time series 8-3. However, believe it or not, Houston's actually won the last two meetings in a row in this series. Both over the last 2 years, last year and the year before, both games in Houston, and Houston won them both. New England has not won in Houston since 2015, 27-6. So there isn't much more to say on this. MF, as I started with you here with New England and Houston, it's our number 8 game of the week, by the way. Houston, let's be realistic. They're a mess. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it's hard to believe this team actually has a win under their belt, but that came in opening week against Jacksonville. But the New England Patriots, 2 weeks ago, stunk up the joint against New Orleans. But MF, as we saw last week against Tampa Bay, it may have been a losing effort, but you want to talk about heart, guts, determination. They hung with the Super Bowl champs. And boy, howdy. I mean, if it wasn't for that doink, they would have pulled off maybe the upset of the year.
Not only the upset of the year, but I think a lot of people believe that, going into it, the way that they were playing, a lot of people felt like they probably could have won this game, that they could have won that game. So, I mean, the way that they played, this was without a doubt one of their best performances, but a lot of people felt like they could have won that game over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Brady did not play that great. That defense definitely shined under the pressure in the spotlight. There was just an unfortunate mishap at the end that cost them the game. And without a doubt. So, I mean, there's really nothing more to add, Anthony. It's all yours. I do got the Patriots winning, though.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, and I'm going to be going with that as well. But what to watch for, of course? Will the Texans' run game show any improvement? The Patriots are ranked 28th in Football Outsiders DVOA against the run, but can Houston take advantage? The team ranks 30th in rush DVOA so far, and it's gone downhill since Mark Ingram ran for 85 yards and a touchdown in their Week 1 win against Jacksonville. Bold prediction, the Patriots will rush for 200 yards as a team, with running back Damian Harris leading the way by eclipsing the 100-yard mark and scoring 2 touchdowns. The Texans rank 28th in the NFL in rushing yards allowed a game, and the Patriots are determined to get their ground game going after totaling -1 yard on 8 carries in last Sunday's loss to the Buccaneers. Michigan got the field goal. All right. Let's see if they can hang on. Stat to know. Houston listen to this stat, MF. Houston quarterback Davis Mills. Whoops. Pop-up video has come in. So just excuse me a minute. All right. Okay, that should take care of the pop-up video. As I was saying before I was interrupted, Houston quarterback Davis Mills, and the stat to know, Davis Mills posted, listen to this, a 0.8 total QBR against the Buffalo Bills in last week's shutout loss to Buffalo, the 4th lowest in the past 5 seasons. He joined Case Keenum as the only Texans players to lose their first 3 career starts with a loss tomorrow. For fantasy, Patriots receiver Jacoby Myers has 42 targets this season, tied for 5th most in the NFL, and 2 straight games with 15-plus fantasy points. The last Patriot receiver with 3 straight 15-plus point games, Julian Edelman, weeks 12 to 14 in 2019. Betting nugget, New England is 57-31 against the spread following a straight-up loss under Coach Bill Belichick. FPI has New England as a big favorite, 68.8%, about 69% going with New England. I'm going with New England to win as well. 17-7, I got New England knocking off Houston. So we're going to catch Michael Bullock up now. So Bullock, come on in. Let's get you caught up here on the games that we've done. We've done about 4, I think. So yeah, four games so far. Starting it off with the New York Jets and the Atlanta Falcons in London.
Yeah, I got the Atlanta Falcons winning this one.
Philadelphia Eagles versus the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, Carolina Panthers. I got them winning this.
Green Bay Packers against the Cincinnati Bengals, one of the games of the week.
Yeah, definitely one of the games of the week, but I just got to go with the Green Bay Packers. They're on an absolute roll. I mean, would I be surprised if Cincinnati pulls up the upset? No, but Green Bay's on a roll right now. I can't go against them.
No, not at all. And the game that we just talked about, Bullock, your team, the New England Patriots against the Houston Texans, and man, oh man, you, me, and MF, we were there, Buffalo Wild Wings last Sunday night. Man, if it wasn't for that doink, Nick Folk, that field goal that we thought was good, but he doinked it. If it wasn't for that, your team would have pulled off the upset of the year last week.
Yeah, and boy, out of Florida, I mean, what an honor it was for us to be there for one of the most anticipated regular season game at B-Dubs, and it was a fun night, but...
Hallelujah to that, man. Hallelujah to that.
Yeah, and if, like you said, he made that field goal, yeah, the whole New England area would have been talking about how they upset the Super Bowl champs and prevented Tom Brady from defeating all 32 NFL teams. But as I always said, that's the one sound you do not want to hear.
Oh, no.
And, yeah, and I got New England winning this one. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to go 20-7 is my final score.
Yeah, that's just about what I had. I had 17-7, but nonetheless, I have New England as well. You're right. So with all that being said, MF started the last one, so we'll give Bullock the next one. Divisional rivalry, this one from the AFC South as we stay on the CBS side of the ledger. The Zonk game of the week on our end, as it will be the Tennessee Titans squaring off against the winless Jacksonville Jaguars from TIAA Bank Field in Jacksonville. And this one will be over on CBS, of course. And on the call for that one, it will be Tom McCarthy and Tiki Barber. Tennessee opening up as a 4.5-point favorite. This is their first meeting of the year. Tennessee leads the all-time series 31-21. Tennessee's won each of the last 3 meetings against Jacksonville. They won in Jacksonville last year 31-10. Jaguars last beat the Titans at home in the year before, 2019, 20-7. So Michael Bullock, Zonk game of the week, Tennessee at Jacksonville. Should be an easy one for Tennessee, I'm sure, right?
I think so too. And yeah, and let's not forget the absolute mess that's going on with Jacksonville, especially with their coach Urban Meyer. I'm not going to get into I mean, you all know it by now, but either way, I got Tennessee winning this one in the laugher, so I'm not going to waste much more time on this. So, Florio, it's yours.
Absolutely. I mean, what to watch for, this game is all about getting Derrick Henry going and trying to stop him. In the first game these two teams play each year over the last 3 years, Henry has rushed for 185 yards and 1 touchdown. In the rematch, he has rushed for 612 yards and 8 touchdowns. That doesn't mean Henry won't go off on Sunday, but the Jaguars do rank 5th defensively in the NFL in yards per carry allowed, 3.7. Bold prediction, the Titans won't allow a sack against the Jaguars. That's saying a lot. Despite Jacksonville only having 5 sacks this season, the Titans have allowed a league-high 17. The blame has been placed on receivers not getting open, quarterback Ryan Tannehill holding onto the ball too long, and offensive linemen getting beat up front. 2 things can help solve those issues: the possible return of receiver A.J. Brown and offensive coordinator Todd Todd Downing going to more bunch formations to create separation and allow Tannehill to get rid of the ball more quickly. The stat to know, the Jaguars, who are in the midst of a 19-game losing streak, tied for second longest in NFL history, have allowed 20-plus points in 22 straight games, NFL's fourth longest all-time streak. For fantasy, Henry has 11 rushing scores in 10 career games against Jacksonville, including 4 in Week 14 of 2018, on his way to a career-high 47.8 points. Betting nugget, Jacksonville has failed to cover in each of its last 4 games as a home underdog. Tennessee, the FPI favorite, 61.4%. I'm going with Tennessee to win. My final score, 27-20, Tennessee over Jacksonville. MF, you can breathe now. Michigan survived. Woo! Michigan, they survived. They survived. So, same score. Go figure. Notre Dame wins 32-29. Michigan wins 32-29. What about that?
Yeah, I know that about it. This was a wild game, but you know what? It was a good victory. There's really nothing more to add here. But Tennessee, we're back to the NFL. I believe Tennessee is going to win the game. There's really nothing more for me to add here. So, Anthony, let's just move on.
All right. So, we will do just that. We can focus now. That business is taken care of. Now we can get back to this business at hand. Next up, another divisional rivalry. This one from the NFC Norris, as we all know. Over on Fox, this will be the Detroit Lions squaring off against the Minnesota Vikings from US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And you can see this game over on Fox. And trying to set up my history here. All right. On the call for that one, it will be gotta go a little up here. It's very high up. I'll get into it as soon as I can. But it's gonna be we know it's a Fox announced team. We do know that. So yeah, this is running slow. All right, here we go. Now I got it. Chris Myers, Daryl Moose Johnston, Jennifer Hale will have the call for that one. And Minnesota opening up as a 10-point favorite, 10-point spread for Minnesota. And for good reason, because it's a one-sided rivalry. Minnesota has dominated this rivalry 78-39 with 2 ties. Minnesota is actually in the midst of a 7-game winning streak against Detroit, which means obviously they won at home last year, 34-20. Detroit has not won in Minnesota since 2017. That was a 14-7 final, but Minnesota has beaten Detroit at home each of the last 3 years. They've won 7 straight overall. So I start this one off because Bullock had the last one. So what to watch for? Minnesota quarterback Kirk Cousins has dominated the Lions as a member of the Vikings, having thrown 15 touchdowns and only 1 interception since 2018. And Minnesota is in the midst of a 7-game winning streak over its divisional foe with an average margin of victory of about 12 points a game. It won't get easier this week for the Lions. Detroit's offensive line will be shorthanded against Minnesota's stout pass rush, 3.2 sacks a game, tied for 3rd in the NFL. Center Frank Ragnow with a toe was placed on IR this week, and the Lions are also preparing to play without left tackle Penei Sewell. Bold prediction, Lions rookie wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown will make at least 5 catches. He had a breakout performance against Chicago last week, catching a game-high 6 passes for 70 yards, both career highs. Look for quarterback Jared Goff to try to connect with the receivers more to open up the potential of the offense, and St. Brown should get targeted more after proving he can make plays on the road. Stat to know, yes, Vikings running back Dalvin Cook had just 34 rushing yards in last week's loss to the Browns, his fewest in the game since 2019. But he had a career-high 206 yards in his last meeting with the Lions, Week 9 last year, and has averaged 106 rushing yards a game and scored 6 touchdowns on the ground in 6 career games against Detroit. For fantasy, Cousins has scored more than 20 fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 games against the Lions. Betting nugget, the over hit in 5 of Minnesota's 6 divisional games last year, including both games with Detroit. Big favorite for Minnesota, 73.8%, about 74% going with Minnesota. I'm going with Minnesota as well. My final score, 30-21. Minnesota beats Detroit. MF, Minnesota has beaten Detroit 7 straight. Do I hear 8?
I hear 8, and I'm going to give you that as well. There's really nothing more to add there. Vikings should win and win pretty comfortably. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, I got the Minnesota Vikings winning this one as well. They should have no problem here, so there's nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
And we will indeed. And our next game, it's a cross-flex. Both networks will have cross-flex games. This is a game that you would normally see on CBS, but this one ended up getting cross-flex to Fox. It will be the Denver Broncos squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers, Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. This game will be over on Fox, and on the call for that one will be Brandon Gaudin, Mark Schlereth, and Sarah Kustok. Denver opening up as a 1.5 point favorite. It's only a 1.5 point spread for Denver. And in the series history, a lot of history here, as we know, with these two, especially in the postseason. But in the regular season, Denver leads the all-time series 15-9 with a tie. They met last year in Pittsburgh as well. Pittsburgh won 26-21. Denver last won in Pittsburgh back in 2006. 2006, the last time Denver won in Pittsburgh. That was a 31-20 final. That was a rematch of the previous year's AFC Championship game, by the way. So not much more to say. Denver and Pittsburgh, normally on CBS, it gets cross-flexed to Fox. 1.5 point spread for Denver. I don't know about that. What do you say?
The reason why that it's that kind of a spread is because of the fact that in the last few years, well, I should say fairly recently, other than that win Bills, the Pittsburgh Steelers have looked absolutely horrible. I mean, everybody who's then a Steeler fan has been calling it out, from Ben Roethlisberger to the lack of game, and what they believe was a virtual mistake in getting Najee Harris, to an offensive line that has been absolutely putrid and horrible, to a defense that has had injuries galore and then not looking like the Steeler defense at all, where one of their biggest fans, a guy on YouTube named Chisel Adonis, has absolutely opened fire, almost going in a Derek Ferreira style EDP 445 rant on the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's how bad it's gotten. There's been questions about, should Ben hang it up? Should he retire? Should Mike Tomlin be fired from it's getting ugly in the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, more than ever before. So, obviously, this is a game that they need to win. But, unfortunately, Denver is the wrong team to go after. Defensively, they're better. They're a lot more stronger than they look. Teddy Bridgewater has done very well for the Denver Broncos. He's done very well. So at the end of the day, I'm with the consensus here. I'm going to go with Denver. Yes, I know it's only a 1 point spread, but honestly, I think that spread should be higher. I think this should be at least 3 or 4 points going in, honestly. Denver wins. They beat Pittsburgh. They'll continue that downward spiral for this team. Nothing more to say. Mike Bullock, it's yours.
Yeah, definitely. This is the wrong team for Pittsburgh to try to end the slump that they're on right now, and because Denver's defense is really looking good, especially led by Von Miller. So, yeah, it's going to be a tough day for Pittsburgh. I smell another loss here, so I'm going with the Denver Broncos to win this one. So, Florio, what's yours?
Yeah. What to watch for? This game will be all about the battle up front. and edge rushers Von Miller for Denver and TJ Watt of Pittsburgh against the offensive lines. The team that can generate the most pressure on the quarterback and force the most turnovers will come out ahead in this one. The Steelers' defense hasn't lived up to its Week 1 performance against the Bills, but this could be a get-right game against an undermanned Broncos offense if they can slow down Denver running back Javonte Williams. Bold prediction, Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger may be trying to get rid of the ball as fast as possible. He has 3 games this season with an average yards per attempt under 6 yards, and running back Najee Harris at just under 7 yards a catch is the team's leading receiver. But the Broncos will still sack him at least 5 times. And if they can consistently generate pressure in between the sacks, they should get their first road win in Pittsburgh since 2006. Stat to know, Denver receiver Courtland Sutton has an average target depth of 17.4 yards downfield this season, the second highest distance in the NFL behind Henry Ruggs III of Vegas at 17.5. For fantasy, Denver tight end Noah Fant has 3 weeks with over 12 fantasy points. Betting nugget, Pittsburgh and Denver are 2 of only 4 NFL teams to go under the total in every game this season. The FPI actually favors Pittsburgh slightly, very slightly. 50.6, almost 51% going with Pittsburgh. For me, this was the toughest game on this list for me to call, aside from another one. But anyways, I know Denver is the sexy pick, and absolutely. I mean, aside from that one great half Pittsburgh had in Buffalo, they played a lot like that downward spiral team from late last year going into the postseason. They are not playing like that 11-0 team right now. They are a mess, and but I don't know why. But my heart is saying they're due. I don't know why, but I'm getting this feeling that they might be due here. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Whatever. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. So I'm actually going to take a chance here. I'm going to lone wolf this one, and I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this one. Like I said, if I'm wrong, whatever. 17-14, Pittsburgh over Denver. So there's not really much more to say. Let's move on. We move on to we have 2 early games left. They're both on our side, CBS. And this next game will feature MF's Miami Dolphins squaring off against the reigning and defending Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida, on CBS. You're not going to believe who's going to be on the call for this one, guys. Hello, friends. Yes, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson are actually working this game, if you can believe that. Despite the fact that Tampa is opening up as a 10-point favorite. I don't think we should be surprised by that spread. The series history actually favors the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not much. It's only 6-5. Their last meeting was 2017 in Miami. Tampa won 30-20. Last meeting in Tampa was 2013. Tampa won 22-19. Tampa's won the last 2 meetings in this series. The Dolphins have not won in Tampa Bay since the Buccaneers were playing in the old sombrero of the old Tampa Stadium. You got to go all the way back to 1988. 1988, the last time that MF's Miami Dolphins left Tampa Bay with a victory, 17-14. So there isn't much more to say on that. So Michael Bullock, come on in. Let's get started with you on this one. MF's Dolphins going up against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers back home after that emotional win in Foxborough last Sunday night.
Yeah, and obviously to me, one of the keys here, guys, is especially when it comes to the Bucs, will there be a letdown because of so much emotion that went into last week's game against the Patriots when Tom Brady returned to Foxborough for the first time as a visitor, and how the Bucs barely survived from it. Will there be any after effects from that? I don't think so. I mean, I expect them to come out and play much better than what they did last week, and they're going up against Jacoby Brissett. I mean, if it was Tua Tagovailoa, then we're talking something different. And of course, let's not forget one thing, guys. Rob Gronkowski's going to miss his second straight game here. So to me, anyway, I think the first quarter to me is going to be telling to see where this Bucs team will be, especially after like I said, after the emotion of last week's game. So, and to be quite honest, guys, I think we're all in agreement here that Mac Jones outplayed Tom Brady in that game, even though Tom Brady won. Correct?
100%.
Exactly. So you wonder how Tom Brady's going to respond, especially after he threw no touchdowns in that game. So I got Tampa Bay winning this one, but to me, I think the first quarter is going to be telling to see if there's any after effects from the emotion of last week's game. So nothing more to say. Flory, what's yours?
Indeed. So let's see. Find my notes on this one. Got a couple more. All right. What to watch for? The Bucs pass rush finally got things going last week in an emotional win over the Patriots. They can build off that against the Dolphins offensive line that has surrendered 13 sacks so far this season, fourth most in the NFL, and in turn protect a very vulnerable secondary that may be without all three starting cornerbacks and safety Antoine Winfield Jr. Bold prediction, and presumably his final start before Tua Tagovailoa returns, Dolphins quarterback Jacoby Brissett will leave it all on the field. He will throw 2 interceptions as a result of more aggressive decision-making, but he also will find the end zone 3 times. Stat to know, with his tight end Rob Gronkowski out, Buccaneers quarterback Tom Brady went 2 for 8, 2 of 8 for 29 yards, with a 50% off-target percentage when throwing to tight ends against the Patriots. He has not thrown a touchdown to a tight end outside of Gronk since week 10 of last season, Cameron Brate. For fantasy, here's some good news for MF. Dolphins tight end Mike Gesicki has 35.3 points in Brissett's 2 starts this season and 7.1 in Tagovailoa's 2 starts. It's Brissett's job for at least one more week, and it figures to be a pass-heavy game script. Betting nugget: since the start of last season, Miami is 6-1 against the spread following a straight-up loss, and 5-1 against the spread as a road underdog. The FPI, of course, going with Tampa Bay very heavily, just about 75%. It came in at 74.9, but it's 75% going with Tampa Bay. I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to win this game, but it's going to be closer than the experts have it. My final score, I'm going to say 31-24. Tampa Bay pulls it out against Miami. So not much more to say. MF, I know when you see this game when you saw this game on the schedule, you're like, ruh-roh. Tom Brady again? Oh boy.
Yeah, but the thing is that out of every team in the NFL, Brady has the most problems with the Miami Dolphins. I don't know what it is, but whenever Brady plays against the Dolphins, it always ends up being major problems for Brady. Of all the teams that has given him the biggest fit, it has been the Dolphins, which is one good thing going in. But I don't like the matchup for Miami. I really don't. I think the body of work of the Dolphins is not there. Look, there's something wrong with Miami. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it. The offensive line has been average. We just can't keep receivers on the field. They're getting hurt. Defensively, we'll be fine. I'm just concerned about our offense. I think our offense is a liability, I have to honestly say. So with that said, I think Tampa was going to win it, but honestly, I don't think it's going to be closer than what the experts had it. Because of the fact that, to be real honest with you, Miami should have beaten Indianapolis, and Indy kicked their butts last week. So, I mean, as a lot of Dolphin fans have been thinking, they have zero faith in this team right now. I hate to say it. The fans who were very high on the Dolphins, who were thinking playoff caliber, they're abandoning ship like you wouldn't even believe, guys. They're jumping off the ship. There is a lot of drama coming out of Miami from the fan base. The fan base is not happy with this Dolphins team right now. They want Tua. They want to get rid of Tua. They want Chris Greer to be fired. They think if Flores keeps going the way he's going, he could be fired. I'm going to be real honest with you guys. It's getting ugly in Miami, and it's getting ugly really bad. It's becoming pretty toxic from the fan base standpoint than anything else. So, yeah, you want to talk about hard times. There's hard times in Dolphin land right about now. So I'm just saying, I'm speaking what I'm hearing. So that's all I'm saying. Nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's all there is to say there. So, all right. Next up, our final early game of the week, we have the New Orleans Saints squaring off against the Washington football team from FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, and this is another cross-flex. This is a game that you would normally see on Fox, but it ended up getting cross-flexed over to CBS. So, very interesting there. Spiro Ditas and Jay Feely will be on the call. Nolans opening up as a 2.5-point favorite, and in the series history, it favors, I believe, let me see, it favors Washington. Washington 17-10, but New Orleans has won each of the last two meetings, but both of those games were in New Orleans. 2018, it was 43-19 in favor of New Orleans. Last meeting in Washington, 2015, Washington in a rout, 47-14, Holiday Ham, New Orleans. Saints haven't won in Washington since 2009. That was a 33-30 overtime win in Washington. So I believe I've covered all the schematics. So this is our number 4 game of the week on our side of the ledger. So I will start this one off. What to watch for? How will Washington's defense attack the Saints running back Alvin Kamara? Washington's linebackers have not played well and will be challenged by an offense that ranks 7th in the NFL with 132.8 rushing yards a game, led by Kamara with 209 yards combined over the last 2 weeks. Washington ranks 11th in yards per carry allowed and 17th in rushing yards a game, so we will need to force New Orleans quarterback Jameis Winston to beat it. Bold prediction, the Saints defense will make a statement after last week's uncharacteristic collapse against the New York Giants. They'll limit Washington to less than 50 rushing yards and force at least 2 interceptions, just like they did in wins over Green Bay in week 1 and New England in week 3. Stat to know, Washington quarterback Taylor Heineke has multiple passing touchdowns in each of his first 3 regular season starts with Washington. The only QB in team history to throw multiple touchdowns in 4 straight games over the last 15 years. Twice done, and it was Kirk Cousins. For fantasy, Washington receiver Terry McLaurin set a career high with 27.7 points in week 2 and then topped it last Sunday in Atlanta with 30.3. Betting nugget, after seeing the under hit in 6 straight games, the over has now hit in back-to-back-to-back Washington games. New Orleans is the FPI favorite, and even 57% going with New Orleans. I'm going with New Orleans as well. My final score, I'm going to go 21-17. New Orleans defeats Washington. So not much more to say. MF, a rare NFC game on CBS, but here we have it. New Orleans at Washington, number 4 game of the week. Should be a good one.
How fitting, because remember, for back in the day, that when NBC was the home of the AFC, CBS was the home of the NFC. So this is kind of a little bit of a deja vu for CBS to get an NFC game. But good matchup, good battle, good game coming up. And yeah, I'm gonna say it too. I'm gonna go with New Orleans as well. I kind of feel like they, there's been moments where they've been very, very good, and then they had to let down the next week. But they're still I think they're still building off that big win over New England. And I think they can definitely do something here. We kind of have to feel how this plays out, but I'm honestly gonna say I think it will happen. So I got nothing more to say. I believe New Orleans will beat Washington, and yeah, Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, New Orleans is going to be motivated after losing the way they did to the New York Giants here. So I expect them to bounce back here. So I'm with you guys. I got New Orleans winning this one as well. So there's nothing more to say. Let's move on, Florio.
And I believe now we move on to the late games. Yes, sir. On to the late games now. There's 4 of them. 2 on CBS at 4:05. 2 on Fox at 4:25. We'll start with the 4:05 games over on our side of the ledger. And we are going to start it off with the matchup. With this is the number 2 game of the week on our side of the ledger. We got the Cleveland Browns squaring off against the Los Angeles Chargers, and this will be over. And this will be, of course, at SoFi Stadium, the home of Super Bowl 56 in Inglewood, California. And on that call, it will be Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins, and the Chargers opening up as 2.5-point favorites. And in the series history, it favors the Chargers. Chargers Chargers lead this series 17-9 with a tie. Matter of fact, the Chargers have won each of the last 2 meetings in this series. Last meeting was 2018 in Cleveland. Chargers won going away 38-14. Last meeting in LA was 2017. Chargers won 19-10. The Browns have not won at the Chargers since they were the San Diego Chargers, and you got to go all the way back to 1991 at the old Jack Murphy / Qualcomm Stadium. Cleveland won that game 30-24 in overtime. So there isn't much to say. MF, if it wasn't for that other big game of the week, this very likely could have been our game of the week. Both teams at 3-1. Cleveland living up to the hype when it comes to their side, but MF, I think there's a team that we need to start putting some respect on, and that team is the Los Angeles Chargers, coming off that big win over the Raiders last Monday night. As it stands right now, I believe they currently hold first in the West. How about it?
They hold first in the West. They've been playing really well as well. You know what? The Chargers definitely has been the best team out there. You kind of have to feel like this is their moment. This is their time. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But the thing is that Cleveland, other than that one loss at the beginning of the year to Kansas City, where a lot of people thought, man, they hung with the Chiefs. They could have been undefeated here, but they did lose that first game. The other team that won the big game, and then the Chargers, the way they took out the Raiders on Monday Night Football, and now they really had a lot of people talking here. So yeah, you're absolutely right, man. This is going to be a very interesting situation. But I got to go with the Chargers. They're at home. I think they've become one of those top teams. So there's really nothing more to say, Anthony. Well, yeah, it happened. There's really nothing more to say. Bullock, it's yours. Oh my Stampede!
Oh my God!
It happened.
The upset of the year. Down goes Bama. Down goes Bama. Michael Bullock, how do you follow that in the words of the late great Regis Philbin? My gosh.
Oh my goodness. I really don't know what to say. I mean, I never would have imagined that this upset would happen. I mean, all I can say is that's got to be the biggest stampede that we've seen, especially since it's Kyle Field.
I'll say this: we always mock about the next victim moniker. Well, Alabama, you became the victim tonight, thanks to the Aggies of Texas A&M.
And they just showed it right here. Jimbo Fisher. Hold on, Florio. I just saw right here. Jimbo Fisher is the. Let me just.
The first assistant to beat Nick Saban.
Yeah, he's the first assistant to beat Nick Saban.
0-24 previously.
Yeah. I mean, who would have thought Jimbo Fisher would be the first guy to
an unranked team.
Yeah.
Unranked, and they have been such
Congratulations.
a mess. They've been such a mess this year. I mean, the first few games, they were top. They were top of they were in the upper echelon. Then they hit a rough stretch, especially Arkansas and the whole 9 yards. But for this to happen, this is unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
Upset of the year by a country mile. This just surpassed Oregon and Ohio State, hands down.
Well, come this week, we're gonna have a new number 1.
Georgia goes to number 1. I gotta feel like, based off their victory today, Iowa now goes to 2. How far does Alabama fall?
Especially since
that's the question, because this was unranked, and you lost. This, you have to punish Alabama for this.
Put them out of the top 10.
Oh no!
No, they'll be in the top 10. I think they'll be in the top
10. But at least they got to be booted out of the top 5. Like, they have to be at least in the 6, 7. No, they still got to be in top 10, but they have to be knocked out of the top 5 in my mind.
Yeah, definitely out of the playoff standings. I mean, yeah. Georgia. I mean, we'll find out tomorrow, because it comes out tomorrow. Georgia likely will be number 1. I wouldn't have to imagine. You'd have to imagine Iowa will probably now go to 2. I mean, I probably would say Iowa would go 2, and then we'll have to wait and see how the rest of the field plays out when the rankings come out tomorrow. But it has happened, folks. Yes, down goes Bama, 41-38 A&M with the upset of the year. I mean, we're all very excited. I mean, based on this Shakespearean drama, unbelievable. Michael Bullock, I mean, I'm sorry we had to intrude on this, but this is just way too damn important. So we'll have a lot more to say about this on Thursday night, no doubt about that. But for right now, Michael Bullock, Cleveland and the Chargers, it's all yours.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to follow what we just saw, but yeah, this definitely should be a good game here. I mean, the Chargers, they've been really good, but yeah, I mean, this is a tough one for me to call, but I'm going to call it here. I'm going to go with the LA Chargers to beat the Cleveland Browns. So yeah, nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours. I'm going to need some time to recover from this.
Oh yeah, we all will, no doubt about that. So, man, if MF and I were calling it, I would have lost my damn mind. I would have taken it way past Gus Johnson. But my God, unbelievable. Anything can happen on any given night, folks. That's all there is to say. So, anywho, what to watch for? The Browns' pass rush has been nearly unstoppable over the last 2 weeks with 11 sacks combined. Myles Garrett leads the NFL with 6 sacks. But Garrett and the Browns face a tough Chargers front led by center Corey Linsley and rookie tackle Rashawn Slater. LA quarterback Justin Herbert has been pressured on just 25.6% of his dropbacks this season, 5th lowest in the NFL. So the question becomes whether this front can keep Garrett and company away from Herbert. Bold prediction, the 2 defenses in this game will combine for 8 sacks. The Chargers' Joey Bosa and the Browns' Garrett will lead the way with 2 apiece in a defensive struggle. The Browns rank number 1 in the NFL in pass rush win rate, while the Chargers are number 9. Stat to know, Charger running back Austin Eckler is averaging 5.7 yards a rush this season, 3rd most in the NFL with a minimum of 40 rushes. He has at least 100 scrimmage yards in 3 straight games, which is tied with Tennessee's Derrick Henry for the longest active streak in the NFL. For fantasy, Cleveland running back Kareem Hunt is widely viewed as the RB2 in Cleveland, but over the last 2 weeks, he's averaging more fantasy points, 22.1, than Nick Chubb, 19.9. Betting nugget, Cleveland is 3-11 against the spread against AFC opponents since the start of last season. Chargers opening up as the FPI favorite, 54.8%, about 55% going with the Chargers. I'm going with the LA Chargers to win this game as well. 20-18. It's going to be a close game, but I think the Chargers can do it. I really do. And this is a team we definitely need to keep definitely keep an eye on. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. We got to keep an eye on this Charger team. No doubt about that. So 20-18, Chargers over Cleveland. So nothing more to say. Let's move on to the other 405 game on CBS. This will be the Chicago Bears. This is the number 3 game of the week on our side. We got the Chicago Bears squaring off against the Las Vegas Raiders from Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. And on the call for that one, it'll be Ian Eagle, Charles Davis, and Evan Washburn. And Vegas opening up as a 5.5-point favorite. No surprise there. The series history favors the Raiders 8-7. Raiders won their last meeting. It was in 2019, and they were in London. Raiders won 24-21. The last time the Raiders were the home team was 2011. Raiders won 25-20. Bears haven't won at the Raiders since 2007. That was in Oakland, 17-6. So there isn't really much more to say about this. I believe this goes to Bullock. Am I right? Bullock, do you start off on this one?
Yeah, I start off on this one.
All right. I just wanted to be sure. I mean, we're all caught up in the excitement of what just happened. But anyways, Chicago, Las Vegas, it's our number 3 game of the week. Raiders, can they bounce back after that tough loss to the Chargers last Monday night?
Yeah, I expect the Raiders to bounce back after that loss to the Chargers here. I mean, yeah, and of course with the Bears, they named Justin Fields as their starter for the remainder of the season. So, yeah, but to me, I got the Raiders winning this one. I got them bouncing back in a good way here. So, yeah, there's nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, I got the Raiders bouncing back as well. What to watch for? The Khalil Mack homecoming has arrived. Talk about awkward. Mack never played for Las Vegas coach John Gruden, forcing a trade with his 2018 holdout, and called Oakland home for 4 years, never playing in Vegas. The last time the Raiders faced Mack was in London in 2019, and they held him sackless. Mack and Raider quarterback Derek Carr are close friends, and they always argued over who is faster. But with his battered offensive line, Carr might not want to find out. Bold prediction, the Raiders will sack Bears quarterback Justin Fields 5 times. Fields, Chicago's newly anointed permanent starting quarterback, as Bullock just mentioned, is incredibly mobile. But the Bears are without top running back David Montgomery and are therefore susceptible to being one-dimensional on offense. The Browns sacked Fields 9 times just 2 weeks ago. The Bears' offensive line is known to badly struggle against elite pass rushers, and the Raiders have several of those. Stat to know, Carr has averaged 12.4 yards per attempt on third down this season, most in the NFL. For fantasy, Bears receiver Allen Robinson II has averaged 1,199 receiving yards a season, about 1,200 receiving yards a season over the last 2 years, but he's on pace for just over half of that this season at 633, and that includes an extra game. Betting nugget, not only has the under cashed in each of Chicago's past 3 games, none of them have seen more than 38 points scored. But Las Vegas is 15-5 to the over since the start of last season, the highest over percentage in the NFL. Las Vegas is the FPI favorite, 62.3% going with Vegas. I'm going with Vegas to win as well. I think it might be a little closer than you might think. I'm going to say 27-23. I think Vegas will bounce back and they'll beat Chicago. So not much more to say here. So MF, Vegas, can they bounce back after that embarrassing loss to the Chargers?
I think they will. You look, they were pretty good up to this point. And yes, I know a lot of people's like, oh, but they only played, not so great teams. And then they ran into the Chargers, and the Chargers punched them in the mouth. But I do believe that the Raiders are better than what everybody was saying. It was like after that loss, everybody was thinking, oh, it's their funeral and this and that and everything else. But no. The Raiders are a good team this year. They are not the same old Raiders from years ago. They are a lot better. Carr looks better. The running attack it's been the biggest problem because of the injuries that they had. But Gruden has a great team. The receiving core is good, and their defense had a bad game. I mean, I don't think they're gonna have back-to-back bad games. That's the one thing I think needs to be addressed. And at the end of the day, I think the Raiders are going to bounce back. They'll get the victory here. There's really nothing more to add, Anthony. It's yours.
All right, and we're going to move on now to the 425. The two 425 games over on Fox. 4 games left, and we move on to another divisional rivalry. This one from the NFC West, which many of the experts are calling the best division in the game right now, as it will be the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals from State Farm Stadium, formerly University of Phoenix Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. This one will be over on Fox, as I mentioned, and on the call for that one, it'll be Kevin Kugler, Mark Sanchez, and Laura Oakman. Spread favors Arizona. Arizona opening as a 5-point favorite. San Francisco leads the all-time series 32-27. They both split last year. Both teams won on the road, which means San Francisco won in Arizona last year, 20-12. Matter of fact, the Niners have won the last 2 meetings in Arizona. They won 28-25 the year before. Cardinals last beat the Niners at home in 2018, 18-15. So there isn't much more to say on this. So I believe I start this one. So what to watch for? This much we know about tomorrow's game. The Cardinals will face either Jimmy Garoppolo or Trey Lance or both. Each presents their own unique game plan. Garoppolo is a pocket passer, while Lance is more of a dual threat option, the likes of which the Cardinals' first-team defense sees every day in practice against their own Kyler Murray. If he starts, Lance would be the 4th youngest quarterback to start his first game in the Super Bowl era at 21 years and 154 days old. Bold prediction, Cardinal receiver DeAndre Hopkins will finish with 14-plus catches. The 49ers are still thin at cornerback, even as they hope to welcome back veteran Josh Norman. And Hopkins had 22 catches in 2 games against the Niners last year. Now, the Niners have to account for the likes of A.J. Green and Rondale Moore as well. This game could be tighter than many expect, but Hopkins could be the difference maker. Stat to know, the Cardinals can become the 6th team in NFL history with 30 points in each of the first 5 games of the season. A lot of that has to do with quarterback Kyler Murray's hot start. Only 5.5% of his passes from the pocket have been off-target and completions. That's just 6 balls on 113 total attempts, and he is threading the needle downfield. According to ESPN route analysis powered by NFL Next Gen Stats, Murray has completed 17 of 24 passes when targeting vertical routes this year, highest rate in the league. For fantasy, last season, 49ers running backs racked up 98 fantasy points across their 2 games with the Cardinals. Betting nugget, San Francisco is 8-2 against the spread as a road underdog since the start of the 2019 season, while Arizona is 2-6 against the spread as a home favorite under their coach Cliff Kingsbury. Arizona opening up as a 62.8% FPI favorite, about 63% going with Zona. I'm going with Arizona as well. I think it's going to be closer than the experts have it. I'm going to say 30-27. I think Arizona will pull it out and remain the NFL's lone undefeated team. There's only one team left. And the Arizona Cardinals, MF, they're the only team that's preventing your precious 72 Dolphins from popping that champagne.
Yeah, they are. But it's not going to be the week. This will not be the week. I think Arizona is going to win this game as well. I'm totally agree with you on this one, Florio. I got the Arizona Cardinals as well winning the game. There's really nothing more to add. So, Bullock, it's yours.
Well, we lost Bullock, so
okay.
I don't know.
I guess we just got to. It looks like you and I are going to finish this out then.
Yeah, it's probably going to be that way unless. Well, nope, he must have hit a wrong button or something. All right, Bullock, San Francisco and Arizona. Arizona looking to remain the only undefeated team. Can they do it?
I think they will do it. I've really been impressed with the way Arizona's played so far, especially with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and the rest of that offense, and the way the defense has definitely played. So I think the winning ways early in the season continue. So I got Arizona winning. Florio, it's yours.
And this, for the life of me, I don't know why, but it is. Fox is calling this America's Game of the Week. I call it a Joe Buck and Troy Aikman special because that's what this game is. NFC East, we know how much they love that division, and this is right in their wheelhouse. The New York Giants squaring off against the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T Stadium, Jerry World, Arlington. Over on Fox, you already know who's calling it. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Aaron Andrews, Tom Rinaldi. They'll be in Dallas for this one. Dallas opening up as a 7-point favorite, a touchdown spread for Dallas. Dallas leads the all-time series 69-46 with 2 ties. Both teams split last year, but both teams won at home. So that meant Dallas won in Dallas last year, 37-34. You remember, this was the game where Dak Prescott got hurt. He suffered that gruesome injury, and Dallas was not the same after that. And you know how much that set Derek Ferrera off. So, but anyways, the Giants have not won in Dallas since 2016. 2016, the last time the Giants won in Dallas. Dallas has won the last 4 meetings at home against the Giants, including that wild game a year ago. So there isn't much more to say on this. MF, I believe you start this one off. The Giants, they found the win column. They stole one in the Superdome against the Saints last Sunday. Dallas knocked Carolina out of the ranks of the unbeaten. Dallas is rolling, and you know Dak Prescott, he wants that revenge after what the Giants did to him last year.
Oh, absolutely, and I think he will get that revenge. I'm with you, Anthony, on this one. I do believe Dallas is going to win the game, even though this is a lot of the times where New York really gives Dallas a lot of fits because the divisional matchup and everything else. And I do believe there will be some moments where they do get some fits, but I do believe that Dallas is going to get the job done. They're going to win this game. Mike Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, basically, I mean, the Giants are coming in after a huge victory over the Saints last week, but to me, there's no question about it. Dallas is the much better team here. I think Dak Prescott's gonna have a big day. The same thing with Zeke Elliott. So Dallas wins this one. So Florio, it is yours.
Oh yeah. What to watch for? For as improved as the Cowboys have been defensively, big plays are still an issue. They have given up 21 plays of 20 yards or more through 4 games. The Giants have 16 plays of at least 20 yards and have a fully loaded offense. Dallas has allowed 5 first downs this season on 3rd and 10 or longer. So it will have to be mindful of New York's quarterback Daniel Jones' ability to run and get the ball to receivers Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, and John Ross III, along with running back Saquon Barkley. Bold prediction, Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott will rush for 150-plus yards. Elliott rushed for 143 against a good Carolina defensive front last week, and now he gets to face a Giants defense that has struggled to stop the run this year. New York is 20th in the NFL in that area, allowing 122.8 yards a game on the ground, and they haven't faced an offensive line like Dallas's unit. Stat to know, Daniel Jones leads all NFL quarterbacks with a 71% completion percentage this season on passes that travel 15-plus yards downfield. For fantasy, Dak Prescott has a 75% completion percentage this season, second best in the NFL. The Giants defense has allowed the second highest completion percentage, also at 75%. Betting nugget, the Cowboys have won 7 of their last 8 games against the Giants, covering 6 of those contests. They are also the only team still unbeaten against the spread this season. Dallas, FPI favorite, 72.9%, about 73% going with Dallas. I'm going with Dallas. And I think it could be a better game than I thought. What the hell? Let's make this a high scoring affair. 37-33. Give me Dallas over the Giants. So, but I do agree with Dallas. So there isn't much more to say on that. Gentlemen, it is now time for the game of the week. And this one, for me, is straight up personal. This is beyond personal. Because you have no idea how badly I want this one. Since the schedule came out, I'm going to be honest with you, I circled this game in the brightest shade of blood red I have ever seen. Because that's how bad I want this one. The rematch of the AFC Championship game, Sunday Night Football on NBC. My Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs, Arrowhead Stadium, Kansas City, Missouri. on NBC, also streaming on Peacock. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, the Tony and Mikey special, obviously. Kansas City opening up as a 3-point favorite. No surprise there. Buffalo, however, leads the all-time series 24-21 with a tie. Last year, we all know, they played twice. Kansas City won them both. In the regular season, they won in Buffalo on a rainy Monday night, 26-17. The other, of course, the AFC Championship game, Kansas City winning 38-24. But it hasn't been that long since Buffalo last won in Kansas City. It was only 2017. That was the last time Buffalo won in Kansas City, 16-10. Chiefs' last regular season home win against Buffalo was 2015, 30-22. So that's all there is to say on that. So we'll start with the impartial voice here on this one. Michael Bullock, before MF and I, do our thing, the Tony and Mikey special. So Michael Bullock, AFC Championship rematch. Buffalo Bills, Kansas City Chiefs. I've waited 8.5 months for this. A lot of our viewers out there may not know how bad I want it, but you and MF damn sure know how bad I want this one.
Oh yeah, because the Bills were so close in getting to the Super Bowl, and then couldn't do much in the AFC title game against a tough Kansas City team. So yeah, I think this is going to be something really good. I could see this basically going into overtime here. So this is a tough one here for me, but I got to go with Kansas City on this one. Would I be surprised if Buffalo won? No, I wouldn't. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to say. Florio, it is yours.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you went with KC Bullock. I had a feeling. But anyways, what to watch for? The Chiefs defended well against Buffalo quarterback Josh Allen and the Bills offense in each of 2 games last season. But this is a different Kansas City defense, one with considerable weaknesses in many areas. The Bills are going to score some points. Can the Chiefs outscore them? Kansas City scored a touchdown on every possession except one in last week's road win over the Philadelphia Eagles. But Buffalo has the NFL's #1 scoring defense, so the task gets much more difficult this week. Bold prediction. The Bills will score at least 35 points against the Chiefs. They have scored at least that many in each of their last 3 games, and that trend should continue in Kansas City. The Chiefs' defense ranks 31st in points a game allowed at 31.3 and has struggled to limit opposing offenses. While Allen's starts of the season has been inconsistent, he'll take advantage of the opportunity in prime time. Stat to know, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes can become the 3rd player in NFL history with at least 3 touchdown passes in each of his first 5 games of a season. The other 2, Steve Young with the San Francisco 49ers in 1998 and Tom Brady with the New England Patriots during the infamous undefeated 2007 season for New England. For fantasy, Bills running back Zach Moss, his carry count has increased each week this season, and he has found pay dirt 4 times in those 3 games. He did not play in week 1. Betting nugget, Kansas City is 0-3 against the spread against teams with winning records this season. And believe it or not, the FPI is actually favoring Buffalo. Yes, it's late, it's small, but I'm still encouraged. 50.6%, about 51% going with Buffalo. I'm with that majority. You know me, I gotta go with it. I think they're due. I really do. Considering that KC has been a little cum sa this year, and considering that Buffalo has very well recovered from that disastrous second half against Pittsburgh, but since then they have really found their niche. They're playing like that sexy pick in the AFC, so I'm going for it. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills to win this game. 38-34. It's going to be a 5-star classic, Shakespearean drama at its finest. And MF and I are going to have you thought we had a blast last week? I think we might have an even bigger blast this week. So 38-34, Buffalo steals one at Arrowhead. So not much more to say. Good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. Our game of the week. This is the epitome of the words Tony and Mikey special. Whenever there's an AFC championship, it's automatic. So here we go, man. Buffalo, Kansas City. This is what the words main event were meant for, man. This don't get no bigger.
And not only that, but this could be a rematch or a preview of another AFC Championship game. With the way that these two teams have been playing, who knows? We might see them in January, possibly playing for the Super Bowl again. It's possible. Um, Look, Buffalo had one bad game, and then they turned the switch and flipped it. Kansas City, other than that one game where they've been up and down, they've been playing like a roller coaster. They had a bad game against the Chargers, but they turned it around and got back. And now the thing is that I kind of feel like Kansas City's been almost in a way playing with their food. They don't play up to their competition until they really get somebody who catches their attention. I'm sorry, Anthony. You're rolling into a juggernaut and you're rolling into a major problem because of the fact that I truly believe that this team, this Chief team, I think they're going to be playing on all cylinders. And I kind of got a funny feeling that they're going to come out here and they're going to win this game. So, with that said, I I I feel like Kansas City is going to steal it. I don't think it's going to be one of those where they dominate. I think it's going to be one of those where they're going to steal this game when it's all said and done. There's really nothing more to add. So I think I think Buffalo is going to give them everything they got. I just think Kansas City is just going to be. They're not there yet. They're not there yet. They're going to make it. It's going to be sooner rather than later. But I just feel like Kansas City is going to eke it out. They're going to steal this game.
Before we move on to the final game, MF, I'm very curious. What if Buffalo actually steals this one? Then what?
If Buffalo steals the game, then they possibly become the number one team in the AFC. Exactly. They will be the team to beat in the AFC. Absolutely. Everybody's going to be saying that this team now finally has all the pieces to make a Super Bowl run. And I think that's the best thing that you can say. Because when you knock off Kansas City, they're the creme a la creme right now. It's basically, you got to measure up to Kansas City in order to be the best. If you beat them, then obviously you become the top team in the AFC. Everybody's good. But the problem is, then the bullseye comes to you. And everybody starts gunning after Buffalo. Yes, so, I mean, be careful what you wish for. That's all I'm saying about that.
Absolutely. So, don't worry. I'm not going to put blind. I'm not putting any blinders on yet. Don't worry. So, but anyways, we'll see what happens. It's going to be great. Final game of the week, of course, Monday Night Football over on ESPN. And it will be a matchup of the Indianapolis Colts squaring off against the Baltimore Ravens, M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore, Maryland, over on ESPN. Steve Levy, Brian Griese, Louis Riddick, Lisa Salters. If you're wondering, that Manning experiment is on hold right now, but they'll be back soon enough. They will be back. So they're just taking a brief hiatus. So they'll be back. Don't worry. But anyways, Baltimore opening up as a 7-point favorite. It's a touchdown spread for Baltimore, and the series history favors the Indianapolis Colts, however, 8-5. But the Ravens have won each of the last two meetings, including the last one in Baltimore, which was 2017, 23-16, the final. The Colts have not won in Baltimore since 2009. That was a 17-15 final. So our final game of the week, let's get into it. This one came in at number 5 on our side, so here we go. What to watch for? All eyes will be on Colts quarterback Carson Wentz against the Ravens pass rush. The last time Wentz played Baltimore, he was sacked 6 times, tied for the second most in his career. The Ravens are coming off a game in which they recorded 5 sacks in Denver, and Indy will again be without 3-time All-Pro guard Quentin Nelson with a sprained right ankle. Bold prediction, Baltimore quarterback Lamar Jackson will pass for more than 300 yards. The Colts, like many teams, are focused on slowing down Baltimore's running game that has topped 100 yards on the ground in 43 straight games. Jackson had his first 300-yard passing game of the year, 316 last week in Denver, and Colts coach Frank Reich said Jackson's passing ability is an underrated part of his game. Stat to know, after leading the league in first down design rush percentage over 2018-20, the Ravens are just 11th this season. For fantasy, since the beginning of 2019, the Ravens have won 6 primetime games. In those contests, Jackson is averaging 34 fantasy points, 94.5 rushing yards, and more than a rushing touchdown a game. Betting nugget, home teams are 4-0 against the spread on Monday Night Football this season. Baltimore opening up as the FPI favorite, 67.2% going with Baltimore. I'm going with Baltimore to win this game as well. 30-20, Baltimore beats Indy on Monday Night Football. MF, your thoughts?
Agreed. I got Baltimore winning as well. This is not even going to be close. This is going to be a massacre. Baltimore blows out Indy. Bullock.
Bullock, are you there? Oh, think we might have lost him there. But nonetheless, I'm sure he agrees. I'm sure he's probably got Baltimore winning as well. So if I know him, well, that will put the bow on this latest edition of NFL Saturday. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. Of course, in just a moment or so, MF, we're gonna have to put our heads together about the programming for next week. I mean, we got to figure out how we're gonna. Well, we know Ridiculously Raw Monday night. That's not changing. We don't have to worry about that. But the other shows we're gonna have to figure out, because as we all know, AEW Dynamite's gonna be on Saturday night next week. I think it's gonna be on Saturday night for the next couple of weeks with the NHL starting on TNT. So we're gonna have to figure out how we're gonna do the shows. I think we're gonna have to do some reshuffling again, but as soon as we figure that out, we'll let you fine fans know what's going on. But as far as what we can expect on this program next week, bye week start, that we know. Some of the notable games next week, the other London game, the Miami Dolphins against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We got the LA Chargers against the Baltimore Ravens. The greatest rivalry in NFL history, the first meeting of it, the Green Bay Packers and the Chicago Bears. We also have the Kansas City Chiefs against the Washington Football Team, Las Vegas Raiders against the Denver Broncos, and the game that I'm personally calling the Derek Ferreira Bowl, the Dallas Cowboys and the New England Patriots. And then from there, Monday Night Football, the Buffalo Bills against the Tennessee Titans. So that's what we can look forward to. So what we do know is Monday night there will be Ridiculously Raw. There is nothing to worry about there. But we'll have to figure out the other programs, and as soon as we come up with something, we'll let you fine fans know. Keep an eye out on our social medias for any developing news, and we'll get back to you. So I'll do it. So until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, it's Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, for Michael Bullock, and in spirit Didi Woodson, and always and forever the Yankee Messiah 401 Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune Forest style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed weekend, the rest of your weekend. And until Monday night for Ridiculously Raw, you've been watching Week 5 of Strictly Sports NFL Saturday right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.